Good afternoon, and thank you for joining today's webinar from Spec Innovations, Innoslate Tips and Tricks. My name is Taylor Duffy, and I'll be the moderator for today's webinar. First, I'd like to go over some housekeeping. During the presentation, feel free to send us questions, and we will get them answered in the Q&A part of the webinar. You can also interact with us on LinkedIn through the Innoslate users group or through Twitter using the handle Spec Innovations. The webinar is being recorded and will be made available to you after the live presentation, so keep an eye out for it in your inbox. Now I would like to introduce you to our presenter, Dr. Stephen Dam. The creator of Innoslate himself is going to share with you the best methods of using the Innoslate software and help you become an expert in no time. Dr. Dam is the president and founder of Spec Innovations, as well as one of our DODAF training instructors. He has been involved with research, experiments, operations analysis, software development, systems engineering, and training for more than 40 years. He has also received an Expert Systems Engineering Professional ESEP certification from INCOSE. He is currently applying systems engineering techniques to various DoD, DOE, and commercial projects. Feel free to send Dr. Dam any questions through the LinkedIn users group or send him an email to stephen.dam@specinnovations.com. Now I'll hand it over to Dr. Dam and we'll get started.
Thanks, Taylor. Appreciate it. So we're going to do some tips and tricks, which is a lot of fun. Kind of going through some basic areas here, getting started, how you get started easier, finding things. It's a very important thing in a large database tool, be able to search and find things. Organizing things, how you can use the tool to help you organize even your daily activities. You also how to make drawings prettier. All our drawings are generated by the data in the database and the rules for the diagram. So, but you still want to make them look pretty. So we're going to talk about some of those kind of things and some talk about helping power users. Okay, so let's jump into it. So what I'm going to do is give you, kind of some basic slide things. I'll talk about the guided tour, resources page, help center, and YouTube. So those are 4 different areas that'll help you get started. So let's look at each one of those. I'm going to turn this off. Okay, so when you log in, the first thing you have is the welcome to Innoslate. And right in there should be this little start guided tour. By the way, if you dismiss this and you want to get it back, all you have to do, sign back in, of course. All you have to do is show guided tour up here at the right. And the guided tour, you click on and then go through and select a project. And we have 4 different project types to work with you. The focus of autonomous vehicle is heavily towards requirements focus. The FireSat's more about modeling simulation. The Musify was meant to be help with software, how you'd apply it in developing software. And then the far one here really gets into the project planning as well as very detailed design work that you might run into for the rover. So we have videos on all these as well, so you could kind of look at them. So just pick one you like, and of course this exciting looking car, I want one. And then you hit next, and then you select the different areas you're interested in, a 101, requirements, modeling simulation. So you can pick what you're interested in seeing. You don't have to be stuck. So, but you have to pick at least 2 topics. So you might pick those 2. Not that those would make the most sense to put together, but what the heck. And then hit next. And what that does is build a database for you. And so you're creating a new project when you do this. It's one of those things that takes a little bit of time to get going. There we go. And now to walk you through the different aspects of it. So take you through the menu bar. And then once you kind of understand that, that's pretty simple. And you can pin and unpin those menus, of course. Then you can chat with other users. So that's another aspect of it. Next, and then share projects, do notifications, and on and on. Okay, so there's lots and lots of things here. If you say, well, gee, I've already seen that, I want to just go and play with the example. There's a little X over here to the right. It may be kind of hidden to you, but it's right there, and just click that X, and that'll get you out of the tour itself. And so you can just you know, see what's here with it. And so we have examples here of the some of the widgets on the dashboard and things like that. Again, a full database with information in it and a full model to work with. So anyway, take a look at that as a good starting point for you. Another place you might go very quickly is our resources page. So you go to innoslate.com, and then of course one of the tabs up the top is resources. So I've already selected that here. And so you scroll down, you can see, well, first of all, here's how you get access to the Help Center, User's Guide, Share Space. This is where we have an opportunity to share information, projects, documents have been parsed, things like that are in our share space. And then white papers, webinars, blogs, and of course, contact us. Of course, you could go through and do searching here. You can scroll down and see more of the latest things, all the way down, videos, get access to share space, and free books. All our books, ebooks, are now downloadable for free. So, and then of course, updates on webinars and things like that, LinkedIn community. And there's a good LinkedIn group that you can join, and it's very active. And of course, join more, get on our list for more webinars and things like that. All the way down. So again, these pages should help you get started with things. Again, maybe topics you haven't done before, things like that. And of course, the Help Center itself, for the Help Center, has all these guides, release notes, so you see what changed most recently. And we're updating the tool on all the time, so you'll see release notes as recent as this month. We had a minor release, some point release we call it, to doing some fixing things, some things. But this is where updates, things like security updates and things like that occur as well, vulnerability patches. So take a look at that. Other things in the Help Center, the User's Guide, and some other information sharing projects. So you can take a look and see these things. It's very helpful to walk through. Things like the requirements management, that gets us into that example, actually. I believe this is that same example, that first example of the car in the guided tour. So that's what it's going through. So if you want to see more detail about it, go to this guide. And then we do have a full YouTube channel. You just go to YouTube, type in Innoslate, and there is tons of videos. So my favorite ones are these lunar rover ones that were fairly comprehensive in terms of the depth, but all our webinars and things like that are here as well. Okay, so hopefully that's enough to get you started. You remember, you can get help from us as well, so don't hesitate to ask for help if you need it. Okay, so let's go to the next topic area. That was getting started. Finding things. So we want to do searching. So we have a search interface that I'll go through and show you and discuss more depth in a minute. The wrench, up in the top right corner, there's a little wrench. It's a little tool. It's where your settings are. That's where changing things and the way you see views and diagrams. That has a multitude of things you can do with it. And then of course, saved queries. Having the ability to, once you have it set up the way you want in your settings for database view, then you can go ahead and save that query for yourself or the project if you're the project owner. And then also using the description field helps you with search a lot. because if you put more information you put there, the more likely you're going to be able to find things you're looking for. Okay, so let's take a look at examples of those as well. So coming over here to database view again, this is the database view is where this is. As you do things, let me just clear this. You see when I hit clear class, this changed up here. Well, that's because that's that advanced search query editor. And so you can go in here and you can add things you want to. So I can choose, I want to get things, diagrams, classes, probably action, attribute options as well. I can get information about and labels. So again, if you're using GoDAF or UAF, by the way, we will have a new label set for UAF here soon. You can add to this as well. And then other diagram options. So what diagrams do I want? In this case, action diagrams, relationship. So again, you notice how it's building that query for you up here. So once you have that, you can update and it'll give you the information you selected, you filtered. So I think you see that's pretty quick and easy. And again, as the databases get bigger and bigger, that this becomes more and more important for you and making sure you do that. Well, so I mentioned the wrench, and in this case, the wrench here, just the main thing is you reset the view. Okay, so I can always reset the view back to the original. That's helpful. There's a help button as well. Results per page, you can determine how many you want to see. So you can do 30, 50, 100. We haven't gone to infinite scrolling here yet with this one. We're going to be doing that probably in a later release. So the key thing here is the settings. Go to settings, and here's where I can decide how I want to see things. Now, if I just want the name and number and name, so I might just do number and name. I don't want the description. I could just do that, and that would be a quick way to give me that. And then I could look at related columns, and I can do. Let me just start typing here. So there we go. And so again, if you want order, you have to do this. Unfortunately, don't have the drag option available yet. I believe that's true. Let me double check that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so then once you save the changes, here's what we have here. I can then again filter a little bit more with the action. Just making actions. I can come in here and type, or it's a number on star, so I get just the RMs. So again, you see how this is filtering. It's modified minus. I probably want it to be numbered. So let's order it by number. And ascending order. So you see how pretty quickly you can get the kind of queries you want, and then just come over to the saved query and save it. And again, if you start typing, and I'm the owner of the project, so I have it here. And so I can save it to the project or save it just for myself. So, and the last thing was the description field. So let me give you an example of that. So here's actually something we do for ourselves in the database view. We actually capture the abstracts from these webinars and then put them in here so we can go find them again. So now if we have a topic of interest, we'll be able to see, search for it. So if I want MBSE, I can find all the ones with MBSE. That's gonna be a lot of them. But some of these other things, policy, papers, things like that. So these are actually papers we just did at NDIA conference, and along with this webinar. So you can see how having that detailed amount of information in there, it's very easy to do, just capture that. If I'm bringing in a document, I'll often put the executive summary, or at least a portion of the executive summary up, as to, you know, what's the document for. That usually has a lot of the keywords you'd want to use for search anyway. Okay, so that's kind of the very simple searching kinds of things, finding things. By the way, all those searches you do in saved queries, if you want to search for a relationship to add, if you're looking for existing entities, you can capture that search that you've created, copy it, and put it in here. So this way you can find the things you want to find as well in terms of making those relationships. So that's another way to do that. We don't have the advanced search in that relationships tab, but the actual search terms can work there. So again, to get there, go back to save queries. So you just pick a query you have. So here's document table, and I would then be able to grab that query out of here, copy it, and use it. Okay. Let's see, what else? So the next topic area is organizing your life. Okay, so we have dashboards to help you do that. This is the way you can set up your dashboard the way you want. You can, if you're the project owner, you can save these widgets to the project as well, so that everybody sees that view you're looking for. We have artifacts, again, much like we just were talking about. I upload, we use it instead of like SharePoint, because what this does is allows us to put the artifacts in, capture those files, but then also I get to now, I get to put some information that make it easier to find it. So again, can help you a lot with organizing. Also, of course, you know, you can add labels to the artifacts, so you now can have multiple labels, so you're not stuck with a folder structure where you now, you know, which folder is it in, kind of things. That's helpful. Notebooks, I actually use this as my notebook tool. So you know, if you already have it and you're using it for other things, it certainly is available for that. Might be an expensive notebook tool otherwise, but certainly it's something I found helps me as I'm doing things. And of course, because I can use it on my iPad, I can actually capture pictures at a conference, which is what this example is right here. And then also I can track my to-do list, my action item list. And so again, I like to use a timeline diagram for that. But you could have a Kanban board or whatever else you'd like to use for it to actually do that. Let's take a look how to do those things live. So the project dashboard here, again, all you have to, if you want to add any widgets, so you can get a new widget if you want, bar chart maybe, and then you can pick what you want and that. Enumeration, usually status, might be what I'm really one of the things I'm looking for. You can determine what kind of chart you want, and of course, in this case, the bar chart. Change the widget to the title, and it's going to say action status, and add it. Oh, and sign me up. There we go. There's my bar chart that I just added here. Now I only made that for myself. If I want to save it to the project, I come in here and click that Save to Project button, and that'll set it. And then that would then make it available to anybody who came into this project. Of course, you can move all these things around and shrink them and expand them, things like that. So artifacts, I think I don't know if I showed you this part of it. I guess I didn't, because in that previous example, I go to the Handy view of it. You see the upload download buttons. So this means that it has been uploaded. I usually capture the date and time of the file itself that was last used, so that way I can track it. If you upload versions of it, they will show up in history, and you can download previous versions that way. So this is another kind of neat thing about organizing the information. So you don't have to keep making new artifacts for this. You can add versions that way if you prefer. Back to my notebook. So as I mentioned, notebooks. So in fact, that is a document in documents view. So that I have it up here. I can go to documents view, or I can create this little widget here, which is a document widget. So it's a document card. And so that's all this is. And so I can go in and then just select it, because that's what I go to very quickly when I want to come into this. And you can see I capture all kinds of information, my notes about the meeting, pictures, things like that. So again, of course, if you're doing diagrams on the side, you can add your diagrams in here too. So it's kind of a nice way to capture a lot of information quickly. I know I use this now a lot, because then again, if I want to search, I want to find when was the last time I talked to somebody about something, or I'm looking for that meeting with somebody I had and I can't remember exactly what it was. The search helps so much in finding my notes. I do go places that I can't bring my iPad in, so I'll make paper notes that I can bring in, and I'll come back and put them into the notebook. Okay, so one more thing was to-dos. So we go back to the dashboard for a second. Now again, there are many ways to do to-dos, but my favorite is the timeline diagram, which is, by the way, getting a pretty significant update. By the way, notice it'll hide things, so you can just adjust the time scale so it matches. So it tells you that it keeps things unhidden that you wanted. So you can see you can track your progress with things. You can look at the different information about it. You can capture even notes here about what's next and what do you want to do with it as well. So, and these can be either actions or tasks. So either of those work here. So in this particular case, the timeline diagram, a task is some class of action that we added fairly recently to do more in-depth project planning. So if you're not familiar with it, I always keep a today right now for this, because it's a little easier to see and track. Again, we have some very significant improvements coming in for the timeline diagram, so which I'm very excited about in 4.7. Anyway, so I think that's the main things I had. Yep. Okay, so let's go to the next topic area. Making drawings pretty. So as I said, Innoslate's designed to be a database tool, and we visualize elements of the database as drawings, as diagrams, and charts, of course, as well. And so one of the key things is about moving lines and how to do that. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Cloning. If you're not familiar with cloning, this is a way to make things all look the same size. And then, of course, there's alignment tools, there's color and erasers, there's adding legends, and I'm going to talk about each one of those things as we go. Okay, so here we go. So here's a diagram, and so I have a line, and I may not be very happy with where this line is, so I'll just pick this, click on it. Now you got to make sure you click on the right line. There we go. And see the endpoints pop up. So you just grab the endpoint and move it to where you want it to go. So again, you can make this look however you want it to look. I mean, we default certain things and try to make it look nice, but everybody has their own way they like to see things. And so just feel free to do that and adjust it as you need to. The next thing was cloning. And so let's say I have these two, and I just want to be a little bigger. So I'm going to do this. And I decide, well, I want this one to look the same. I just click on it and then hit the clone shape, and then it makes it identical. So now I have that. I'll move this around a little bit more, adjust this. Okay, so it's looking pretty good, but all of a sudden now these aren't aligned, so I really want to line them up. So you pick the first one first, and by the way, that's the thing. Same thing with the cloning. The first one you pick is the one that's going to work off of. And so now if I want to line them, I just click the line tool and line them up. And very simple, very easy to do. Colors, I have fill colors, I've got text colors available to me. So if I wanted this to be blue, I want blue, and I want my letters to be white. White look good together, that's good. Sign me out. And so that looks nice, and I like that. So again, I can multi-select these and do the same thing to multiples of them. So if I say I really want all these to be that, I can go ahead and just redo what I just did. Oh, there you go. That'll look nice. Now, if you say, well, gee, I really didn't like that. I really want to take it back to what it was. Well, I really like that actually. And I could do that. And of course, you have undo, redo. So if I can undo the last action and have them back. So again, lots of things to help make it just a little nicer, prettier, the way you want it to look like. Now, a very common thing we will do too is, particularly if you have a script or something else that's kind of hidden, and you want people to be aware of it, you can color code it. And so we often will do that in pick a color, green. And so now what I want to do is add a legend. And what I can do is click into the description field over here and say green shape indicates script. So yeah, and you say, well, gee, that's not very elegant, and it's not. It's not. There's certainly more we can and will do with this kind of thing in the future, but that's the kind of thing that you can adjust as you want to later on. By the way, it looks like, yeah, here we go. If you want to get all the things that are available to you, like I really want this to be bulleted, so let me add the bullet. And I really want this green, so I know it's green. So I just go pick green. So that's a good way to do it. So now I've got my legend basically set up here in the side. And so again, it's maybe not as pretty as putting a legend on top of this, but at least you have the information and you can transmit that information to people and have them see it that way. Again, we're not a drawing tool, so putting a legend on here isn't exactly something that's easy for us at the moment. We're looking into how to put a more formal legend in, but that's coming. Coming attractions. Okay, I think I hit all those topics. So now, power users. Okay. So I'm gonna bring this back up. So some of the power users, one of the things is the whole idea of scripting. And if you get into simulations, you might find yourself doing a lot of scripting. And so we have all kinds of examples. We have examples of scripting information. We have a very nice script editor that's built into the tool. This is JavaScript, by the way. So again, there's lots of books on JavaScript if you don't know how to do JavaScript. We do have a scripting guide in the Help Center. Has a lot of detail of how to use particular things. We also have guides for tool integration. So our 3 tools that we are have a very nice integration with, MATLAB and STK, we can co-simulate with. We're an ANSYS partner, and ANSYS owns STK now, but we're also doing other work with them, and we'll talk a little bit about how we work with the ANSYS design tools there. And then GitHub integration. So GitHub is a software repository tool, similar to Jira or GitLab, and so that's the one we use, and so we created that integration to have that ability to move things back and forth. So, so as you get into more of this, you'll be able to do that. So let's go take a look at a little bit more of where those things are. Next tab. So again, the Help Center is here. Here's where those guides are. This is the Innoslate scripting guide, so I'm gonna go there first. If you scroll down, you'll see the basics of Java. So if you're not familiar with the syntax of Java script, this gives you a pretty good idea of what that is, how to use it. And again, we have pre-built scripts for you. So if you look in there, the OR probability script is a script that we create for you. If you go and select script after you've submitted this, let's say I make a change to the 7030, I hit submit, it'll actually generate this script for me. So again, these are nice script examples for you to get started with as well. Don't worry about this number. This is a very unique, this special number is a unique identifier number for the return. You could just return yes or just return no, and it'll know which branch you're talking about. You don't need this number, so don't worry about those. We just auto-generate them because we can, I guess. It does reduce confusion. Or scripts, so again, all those examples. And then as we go past the ones that are built in, we have examples of things we think you might want to do. Particularly one of these is the synchronizing an OR decision. That's really one of the most critical things you probably will end up using if you're using the scripting. And let me show you an example of it. And the reason is that you have 2 different assets in this example, and the second asset is dependent upon the decision of the first asset. So the first asset, makes this decision, and then passes this trigger, and then this next one can go. But I need to know whether it was a yes or a no. And that information can be contained in this decision now as a variable, okay, as a value. So you can actually put the value directly in there, or you can create a global variable, which is what this script does. So this script creates a global called decision, and if it sets it true if it's the yes branch, and false if it's the no branch. And so that way I would know which one to go. And so when I come down to this script, it goes and gets that decision, and then it goes through and depending on what the value of D is it true or false, it's going to go yes if it's true, and no if it's false. Okay, so again, fairly simple. Even you don't have to be much of a programmer to use the scripting. So especially with these examples, I think you'll find that it's very easy to understand. By the way, we have this project with all the example scripts in ShareSpace, so that's available as well for you. So if you want access to that, you just can go to ShareSpace and get it. Okay, what else did I want to show you with this? Tool integrations. So one of my favorite ones is And then so this gets us into our repositories, and you can go in here and see. Now this is accessing what's going on with the commits. You can see the Kanban board. So this is the Kanban board. These are actually in GitHub. I'm in Innoslate, but I'm seeing what's going on in GitHub. In the issues, I can push an issue down to them. We call them requirements. They call them issues, right? So in systems engineering world, so you can do that. Add the issues and things like that. Track pull requests, commitments, and commitment activity. So they're very busy right now with these things. It's sort of generating a lot of spinners because we're actually in the middle of a review cycle for this getting ready for the next release. So okay, so what was that? What else can I do show here then? Yeah, so that again, other tool integrations, you can go to the help center and see about how those are done. We have specific APIs for STK, and there's a lot. there's a lot. There are a tremendous number of APIs for STK. MATLAB's a much simpler tool in that regard, so it just gets values back and forth. So using it for calculations, many people have very detailed MATLAB scripts. And so we found that this was a nice way to be able to integrate those together with it. So, okay, so let's see, one more slide, and then we'll have time for questions. So the user success team said, hey, let's make sure we add in that you can schedule a demo, you can contact support, and of course you can check out our training options and see how that works. And so let me go back here. That's show you where to find those then. So, last time. So yeah, so go to your main page here and go into scheduling a demo. So if I scroll down, I can request a demo. So that's how you schedule a demo. Contacting support. Again, here's another request for demo. Got a couple of them here. So if you get lost, you usually can find one somewhere. Support, of course, is here. So you get the support button. There's a phone number. There's an email address here, user success. There's also a support ticket if you prefer to do it that way. I prefer a person, so I'm old-fashioned that way, and it's a good way to also interact. And then check out training. There's a training tab. We have lots of different training options. So just particularly for Innoslate itself, there's lots of things here. What many groups will do is get one of our advanced workshops. And the workshops are anywhere from a few days to a week or two, depending. And what that does is it's a training course that's tailored to help you understand how to apply the tool to your problem. So if you have a specific thing you're trying to get done and you would like to have us help you do that, then we can come in and train you on how to use the tool to do that job. So I think you find that that's very valuable. We do a lot of those. Okay, so I do have time for questions. And also, if you want to share any of your tips and tricks, you can put those in the question space as well. So Taylor, do we have any questions?
Yeah, thanks for sharing. We received several already, and if you haven't done so, please put them in the panel on the right, and Dr. Dan will try to get to as many before our time is up. So our first question is, in ShareSpace, can you share with only certain people?
No, but you can create your own share space project. Sharing project in Innoslate would be the best way to do it. And then so you can just then you have control over who has access. So that would be the way I do it. So I'd create my own, just like we've done with that example of our own webinar. Uh, you know, these are all presentations we've made. This is internal for us to be able to share it amongst our team of trainers and support and sales. So that's the easy way to do that.
Next question is 4.6.0.6 available for enterprise servers?
I believe so. Usually our pattern is we push it to the cloud first, and then within 2 weeks, we'll create an enterprise version of it. So that should be available now. That should be the current download.
All right. The next question is, what type of document is a notebook? I see ConOps, VNV plan, project management, etc. in the list.
I made my own because you can create your own type. So I have a notes document label that I created, and that's easy to do. So you just go, if you're not familiar how to do that, go to the schema editor and go to labels. And let me just find notes. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I forgot we got these auto-generated labels. No wonder it's so huge. Okay. Well, that's not gonna make it smaller, is it? Anyway, so basically all you do is you can create a new label. Let's do it this way. And go to, yeah, we're getting rid of these auto-generated labels. I just want you to know. They have been a bit of a pain. Okay. There we go, notes document. It's an artifact. So you just make it, you have to have the word document in it, and then tie it to an artifact. That will then show up in the documents view, and you can set that up. Now, I also created a template for it. This is my actual template for it. So it just gives me the dates, and I go in then, I can do a find and replace, and then that'll put the right month in there, and then I'll just annotate in, Saturday and Sunday, so I can differentiate that way. So that was just what I've gotten into doing. It's because I just really, I had it available to me as a convenient tool to do this. So it's kind of fun. And of course you do too, because you can create your own demo version and things like that. So.
Great. Next
Mhm.
question is, how would you recommend that processes be modeled?
Oh, okay. So we model processes using the action diagram. This is basically a process modeling diagram. The process steps are each of these steps here. You can see you sequence them when you have parallel operations, and parallel, of course, is going on here with these different actors, right? You have different assets, we call them, of course, but they're different participants in the system, and so then these are the actions that go with them that they perform, and so that the IOs, particularly the green ones here, are triggers, so that gives you your sequencing. So you can see in this particular one, it comes in, a fire exists, it detects the fire, they detect infrared emissions, but that can't execute until it gets the navigation signal also. So this has to complete as well as this one. So before then, it'll do the next thing, which is sending the 911 notice out, which makes sense. So that that's the way that we model very detailed processes.
All right, next question. Is there a way to have a legend in the diagram itself?
Not at this time. We are looking into that. I know we're going to be doing some stuff with SysML that gives us some features, but I don't think we have a legend yet. But that is something we are looking towards.
How do I pin a diagram to the top of the diagrams page?
Oh, okay. So, so if I go to diagrams, and so I can create a widget, add a widget, and the only thing you have is diagram cards. So you pick the diagram you want. So let me get something different. Spider. And select a spider diagram you like. Let's get that one. Oh, yeah, that's really cool. Okay. And there it is at the top. If you do your first one, you may find that this other all existing widget is here. These are both widgets. That the individual diagram cards and this one are considered widgets on the dashboard. You may have to drag it up above it, so it may have come in down below it. So you have to determine whether that's the way you want it to work or not. So I think that puts it down here. Yeah. So you may have to move it up. So I think, yeah, the very first one would have to probably show that. Okay.
Next question. If you end up with two projects with the same name, can one be renamed or deleted?
Oh, yes, yes. So you come up to manage projects and then filter on the name. So for example, here I've got this one I just created, and how many autonomous vehicle samples? We got a few. It gets created a lot when we're doing demonstrations and as examples and stuff. So, but I can sort on just the ones owned by me, and that way I won't accidentally delete something I want to keep. So I don't want this one, so I'm going to delete it. And we do make you do that confirm, because once you delete it, it's gone. There's no undo of that.
Right. How were the diagrams in the demo created?
How were the diagrams? Oh, again, in the demo, I'm not sure which demo they mean, but any of them would be created through the diagram menu here. Or if you've already got one diagram, you can easily create other diagrams. So you could, I take like this one for example. I can open up a different diagram type, maybe one I haven't used before with this one. And let me just get something, maybe I've used all these, that's the problem. So you pick the, tree diagram, here we go. That's what I've done with this one before. And then, so now you can save this and have it then as a widget and things like that. So now I can just save it and it'll show now up in my regular diagrams. If I sorted my most recent, it should show up here. So, should show up there. Space elements, one of these things. Oh, this. Oh, this one. Anyway, by the way, there is a legend on the one legend that we do create automatically for you is on the spider diagram. Because you do need that legend there. Okay. Other questions?
Are there model/diagram templates such as DODAV artifacts, BPMN, swim lane diagrams, etc.?
So the templates. So usually what we have is examples in ShareSpace for things like that. And then you could create it that way. But most of these are generated by you. And if you want to set up templates, you can, of course. You can create your own project with the diagram in it you want, and then reuse it as you need to, or even just use cross-project relationships to reuse it. So you can put it into a different. So for example, if I wanted this diagram in my notebook, I can simply go over to my notebook and one here, and I'll just put it on the 23rd for fun. And so I can come in here and insert it. I can do it this way. Oh, I guess I don't have cross project in here, so I'd have to do it into a different place first. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, I thought I had cross project here, but we don't yet. So that's something we're going to be adding. But anyway, so yeah, just you would create them and use them. You can import, export them. So in fact, let's say we haven't yet. That's not here yet, but it is coming. There's going to be an export of the diagram, so you can actually export just the diagram itself. The DODAF dashboard, by the way, simply takes advantage of the fact that there are that the code that they've come up with, the SVs and OVs and all those kinds of codes, are just different document types, diagram types, or document types. And so what our DODAF dashboard does is just use that information to create the diagrams. So that's how you're creating them. But you can create them directly in the dashboard, and it'll pick the right diagram type for you. But you still have to do basic entering the information. By the way, if you have the information from another source, you can import it as a CSV file, and then as long as you put them in the right things, it'll auto-generate the diagram for you. So there are many ways to do that.
Great. I think we have one time for one more question. Can we import images or pictures and use them in diagrams?
Yes, the only on one diagram do we have the pictures that can be imported and used in it. So that's the asset diagram. It's kind of the one that makes any real sense to use it anyway. But these are pictures, but any object in the database can have a picture associated with it. So you can add the picture here and have it associated. You just don't see it on the diagram, on the other diagram types. But yeah, this we use a lot. In fact, that was. Let's say something else about it though. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
I think that's it. Thank you, Dr. Dan. We would like to thank you again for joining us today. As a reminder, we'll be following up with you very soon. Send you a link to the recording and the presentation slide deck. Innoslate's 10th birthday is right around the corner. We're celebrating with a special webinar that will look at the timeline of Innoslate's features and future roadmaps. We hope you can join us for a look into the last 10 years and the future of Innoslate on December 8th at 11 a.m. Eastern. If you can't join us live, be sure to still register to receive the slides and recording. We also encourage you to visit our website and our blog as well. Connect with us on social media. That concludes today's presentation. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we hope to see you at our next webinar.